Some cars deserve to fail, but others fail for reasons that go beyond the control of the manufacturer. Each of these cars is excellent, but some failed for economic reasons, while others failed to be misinterpreted by customers. Here are some cars that should have had a better chance, according to you. 1. Saab 9-3. The 9-3 was a serious competitor in the luxury sports sedan segment, with good looks and unique driving experience. Although it was good, I could not stop the company from sinking. Here is one for sale at this time for less than $10,000. 2. Cadillac CT6. Cadillac announced in November that it would close its CT6 assembly plan by mid-2019 as part of its restructuring plan. It's a shame since he finally received the Cadillac V8 engine as he deserved. This basic 4-cylinder model can be yours for only $36,210. 3. Chevrolet Corvair. Thanks to its funky rear engine design, the first Corvairs had some funky, and sometimes dangerous, handling characteristics. But before Chevy could improve on the platform, he went to rest. Here is a 1962 model to bid on eBay right now. 4. Plymouth Prowler. While the Prowler had the style of Hot Wheels that anyone could ask for, it was largely lacking in the transmission department. Instead of speculating it with a V8 and a manual, as Chrysler should have from the beginning, it got stuck with an automatic V6 engine. This has only 31,000 miles on the clock, and you can own it. 5. Saab 9-4X. The 9-4X, the medium-sized crossover from Saab, could have been the savior of the brand. US lust for high-end cars was beginning to show, but the 9-4X came a little late to be effective to stop the eventual disappearance of Saab. Now, a 9-4X is a scarce car than a LaFerrari. Think about it. 6. Pontiac Fiero. The Fiero was the first mass-produced mid-engine car in the United States, and on paper, it looked promising. But the engine's fire problems and a questionable chassis configuration meant it could never live up to the reliability and performance of its competitors. This one has a V8 exchanged on it, and it's for sale right now. 7. Gumpert Apollo. The Gumpert Apollo had a real performance, even breaking the Nürburgring lap record when it was new. But a strange name and a questionable style meant that people were not interested and, finally, it was discontinued forever. The company, now called Apollo, is back with a new supercar called IE. 8. DeLorean DMC-12. John DeLorean's magnificent vision for the future of the automobile fell flat on his face for several reasons, including the hasty development, the political crisis in Northern Ireland, where it was built, and a trapping plan hatched by the United States government. The DMC-12 deserved better than its short production. Here is one that you can have for only $28,000. 9. Tucker 48. The first and only Preston Tucker automobile saw many innovations that took years for other manufacturers to adopt. Unfortunately, production stopped after only 51 cars were manufactured due to an SEC investigation, which was probably driven by the Detroit automakers threatened by Tucker's promise. 10. Pontiac G8. Pontiac began to show promise just before his death, and no car in his lineup was more promising than the G8. It was a rear-wheel drive sedan built by Holden in Australia, and effective with a V8 and a 6-speed manual. Basically, car enthusiasts wanted Pontiac to do it, but the GM rescue from the US government. He forced Pontiac to a premature grave. His legacy remained in the Chevrolet SS until 2016, when that car also stopped. Here is a rare GXP model equipped with the dispute on eBay now. 11. Saab 9-5. We are very happy to see the incredible renaissance of Volvo, but we cannot help but wonder what would happen to the Swedish automaker Saab if it had the same opportunity. The last 9 to 5 was a wonderful alternative to his German rivals, but he only survived for 2 years before Saab finally closed the store. This black sedan model can be yours for less than $10,000. 12 Porsche 914/6. Even though the Porsche purists hated the 914 Volkswagen derivative, it was a great sales success for the company. The plane of 6-powered 914/6, however, was not. It costs almost as much as 911 cheaper, so guess what customers opted for cars? It is only recently that people realized how good 914/6 is, and values have skyrocketed since then. This, for example, is currently on sale for $69,000. 13 AMC AMX. The AMX was one of the most interesting cars of the muscle car era, but it never realized the way others did it. It was a legitimate two-seater that was much cheaper than the Corvette, but less than 20,000 were sold in its 3 years of production. Among the muscle cars, this is the choice of true connoisseurs. You can have this example painted green today. 14 Saturn Sky Redline. Here we have another victim of the 2008 recession and GM's big rescue. Saturn Sky and his brother, Pontiac's Solstice, were legitimately interesting alternatives to a Miata. In the form of GXP Turbo, it was a high-performance car, but hey, you know how this story ends. The good news is that if you can find a Solstice GXP coupe with a manual gearbox, you have found a future collector car. Buy that puppy now. This Redline manual painted in a bright shade of yellow is ready to bid now. 15 Bugatti EB110. The death of the Bugatti EB110 is one of the biggest automotive mysteries of the last century. Romano Artoli, the man who created it, says it was sabotage of the industry, but no one knows for sure. In any case, it's humble because the EB110 is a fascinating machine. 16 Pontiac GTO. You probably see a Pontiac on this list and assume it was a victim of GM's big rescue, but this was not. Pontiac revived the name of GTO when it started importing the excellent Holden Monero rear-drive coupe from Australia, but it was a sales failure. People complained that they did not look well enough to use the name of GTO, but all I see is a large machine-burned V8. This has been turned into a racing car, and you should have it. 17 Honda Insight. The first-generation Honda Insight was a very interesting version of the economical car, but perhaps it was too interesting for the general public. It had an aerodynamic body, a super-efficient 3-cylinder engine, and it was lightweight. Unfortunately, the Prius proved to be more popular, so when Honda ripped up the Insight in 2010, it was little more than a Prius clone. This is in excellent condition, and it can be yours. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to channels.